Yo, 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 what up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What's up, people? Happy Tuesday. What's going on? What's going on? All right, while we get settled in here. Oh, there's comments. It's deal time. All right, so let me get situated over here. And let's look through the play I want to run today. Where is it? I am close. Give me a second. All right. All right. So today we're gonna run a play. We're gonna run a deal that a student of mine is closing on tomorrow, and it's in Miami. It's a wood frame special, which typically I don't like to buy wood frames. However, at his price, it's a steal and a half. He's got a great deal, and his plan, because he called me and we kind of like broke it down. His plan is to take it down. He's using some money to do so. The tax assessed value is above what he's paying for it. So just a gold nugget for everyone on here, anywhere in America, if you are buying for below the tax assessed value, 10 out of 10 times you hit the buy button. Okay, that is the rule of law. Why? Because the tax assessed value is usually far below 30% at least below where the market value is. So, for example, if you go to the tax assessed value and it says 190,000 and you're buying for 170, you got yourself a deal. Outside of some crazy stuff, going on with the deal or something like that. But outside of that, you got yourself a great deal. I'm going to go back over here. Wow, I have a lot of tabs open, huh? Give me 1 second. This is not where I want to go. Oops. Here we go. All right, I'm going to exit all this out. Jeez, that was a lot of tabs. All right. What up, Will? What up, Terry? What up, Chelsea? All right. You know what? I don't think I have the address. 1 second. Let me pull this up. Hold up. Hey. Hold on. 1 second. All right. And we got our runner at one of the properties that we own. And sadly, we still have squatters in it. Wah, wah. Not fun, right? I wish I had like a freaking... That's not that one. That's the one. That's the sound that I just made in my own head when I saw that the squatter's still in there. Anyway, so let's pull this address up. The rule of law, bingo, yes sir. That works up there in DC too, man. That is as good as gold right there. Yeah, anytime I've ever bought anything, and I learned this from an old head in real estate a very long time ago. Anytime I ever bought something and I was coming in below the tax assessed value, always did well. Again, it's not scientific. I wouldn't base my entire investment philosophy on that, but it is a great rule of thumb, and I've never been wrong regarding that. Okay, so, and I've seen it work in every single marketplace in America, never fails. So here's the property. It's a 3-bed, 1-bath, 1,036 square feet. Keep in mind, in South Florida, okay, wood frame construction versus concrete block construction, very different in pricing, especially in Miami and Fort Lauderdale or Broward County. It affects your value tremendously. However, there is, a buyer set that buys these things. These properties do trade. People do buy these. It happens every day. And you just got to adjust for your numbers. So what you want to do is ideally find a wood frame comp for a wood frame subject. Don't be comping a property. Okay, just starting off with comps. Do not be comping a wood frame property and you get all excited. And I see guys do this all the time. And all of a sudden you're saying, oh man, the comps are here. And those are all concrete block builds. And you have an inferior product at wood frame. Okay, so make sure you're grabbing first and foremost frame to frame or wood frame to wood frame. Okay, so right here, this is where I always look at it. I always check construction type. Concrete brick composition on the outside, but the inside says frame stucco. Second thing we're going to look at is the size of the lot. Okay, the size of the lot is very standard for that area. Most lots are 7,000 square feet. This one is 7,000 square feet. Okay, it was built in 1949, so this thing is old. All right, it was listed on the MLS after the fact. So he got it under contract and then the realtor was being stubborn. It is what it is. The realtor wanted to list it so he could get the credit with his brokerage or something like that. So anyway, long time ownership. Okay. This is a great list to go after as well. All right. This is a long time owner. You can filter that however you want. You could filter other lists like tax delinquent, pre-foreclosure, etc., with the same type of filter where you could grab, hey, I want properties that are tax delinquent that have had 20 plus years of ownership. Okay, that is also a really good list. Or you could just pull a list that is 20 plus years of ownership, and then you can start to stack things on top of that. So obviously this person has owned this for 42 years, if I'm not mistaken. It's a long time. It's older than I am. So of course there's no mortgage, right? The last mortgage was 1996. I was 5 and it was for 15 grand. All right. It's got one owner, clean in regards to no probate, no crazy stuff has to happen. Let's go take a look at what the picture looks like. I really only have one picture to go off of. This is it. Nothing crazy on it. Again, you can tell by the outside, the way windows fit a property, you can tell that it's either wood frame or concrete block. This one is wood frame. And you could also tell that the stucco, right, is kind of dented, if that's the best way to describe it. You'd also tell that this is lifted on a slab. It's just little tall tale signs that'll tell you, hey, this is a wood frame versus a concrete block house, okay? So let's go run some comps, all right? This one's more just a data run, right? Let's go run some comps here. So we're going to grab everything here. And what we're going to do is pop open the address. 33147, guys. In our zip code, that is a super hot zip code. So again, I would urge you, if I was reverse engineering a list or building a list in any county in America, I would go look, where are the hottest zip codes of the highest cash sales, right? That's what I would do. And I would grab those and say, okay, again, 33147, there's a ton of cash sales going on there. And I would pull the top, depending on how big your marketplace is, top 10 zip codes, top 15, top 20, top 30. South Florida is a big market, so you could do 30 zip codes. And then I would start to look for seller data, motivated sellers within those zip codes. Why do you do that? You're reverse engineering, no pun intended. Hey, if I do get a deal, when I do get a deal in this area, is it an area that buyers are buying in? Yes, because you already know that going in. You're not buying in some podunk zip code where you're like, man, I got a great deal price-wise, but who am I going to sell it to? The Tooth Fairy, right? There's nobody for me to sell it to. So I see a lot of guys do that too. Start with the end in mind, right? And make sure that you know your market, and then you build the list backward. So let's pull some comps here and let's start to look at the value. This is our subject in red right here. You see, we're not the corner, but we're close to it. Okay. This is a highly dense marketplace. You are in between. So again, if I was running comps anywhere in America, hey, Will, how should I run the comp? Where do I do the shape? Comps is really an art and a science. All right. So in this regard, obviously these are train tracks right here. You can tell. I am never going to go to the left of that or west of the train tracks. Just not going to do it because this is a totally different market than this. Does everybody make sense there? Cool. I'm not going to go north or above this yellow line, which is 103rd. I'm not going to go north of that because everything over here is very different. I'm also not going to go beneath probably this area right here, because I want to keep it tight to this corridor, okay? And I'm also not going to go right of I-9, which is right here. I'm not going to go to this side. Does everybody get that? So, okay, for those of you that don't know, the colors are orange is pending or active with contract. Green is active. Blue means closed sale. All right. If it's a little house, it's a single family. If it's got 2 little houses like this guy right here, that's a multifamily up to 4 units. And if it has this little, trying to get you one, this little leaf, that means that it's land. Okay. So for the purposes of this, when it comes to wood frame, and again, I'm grabbing all this, guys. Okay. When it comes to wood frame, you want to grab either a direct wood frame comp or land value. Why? In our market, wood frame is largely a teardown, which means, hey, am I buying this below land value so that I could flip it for land value? So for example, if land value was 200 here, which is very common by the way here, and I'm buying this for 170, I know in my worst day, I have a 30K spread just for land. Now, in this particular case, this deal has liens, violations, etc. So it does have some hair on it. However, it does have a single family, even though it's wood frame, it does have a single family on top of it. So somebody could come in, and probably that's what they will do, fix the liens and violations, sell the wood frame property, and that's what they're gonna do to be able to flip it. Now, we're gonna pull some comps here, and we're gonna see that the wood frame value is between 400 to 450. So again, if this dude is buying this for 170, is he in a good position or in a bad position? That's what we're gonna find out. That's a question. If you guys wanna answer me in the comments, rip it. All right, so what I like to do is once I have my sector here, if you will, this little blue square, what I'm gonna do is pull results, and then I'm gonna filter from highest sale down to the lowest sale. So in descending order, I recommend you do the same. I like to see my comps all very nice and organized in terms of numerically, right? So I can go real quick. Here's the highest, boom, boom, boom. Here's the lowest. Here's what's active. Here's what's pending, okay? What is the first thing that jumps out at you here? And I'm understanding this all in real time. So you guys, trying to teach you how an investor would look at this. I'm looking at what the marketplace is telling me in that moment. Right now, the marketplace is telling me there's 5 red arrows, which means forget about this $6.9 million. Forget about that. But there's 4 red arrows here. That means that there's price reductions, which means that the market is not absorbing things in the 500s. It's just not doing it right now. Also, what it's telling me is that there's a lot of actives. There are almost, if not the same amount of actives. Actually, there's more because we have a second page. Yeah, so there's more actives, meaning things that are actively listed right now that have not sold, than closed sales. What that tells me is that there's more available inventory than not. There's also 1, 2, 3, 4, I think that's 8 pending or active with contract properties going on at this time. So why is that relevant? Will, how do I use that for myself? Well, that's going to be your competition. That's going to be, because remember, he's going to close on it and he's going to slap it on the MLS and relist it. That's how he's going to know, okay, if I'm at 170, ask yourselves a logical question. What is the cheapest active that we have right now? I mean, spoiler alert, don't worry about, these are rentals. The cheapest one is $319. Okay, so again, I would write that down. That's my lower limit. So $319 is the cheapest active comp right now. Okay, then I look and say, what is the ones with 2 columns are closed sales, right? CS, closed sale. What is the cheapest closed sale that I have right here? And that, you know, write that down, is 400,000. Okay, so I have a low of 400,000, so nothing has sold beneath 400,000 in the last 6 months, and nothing is currently active below 319. Excuse me, 319 right here, 319,900. right here, okay? Now that we know this, now we're going to start to dig in. Our subject property is a 3-bed, 1-bath, 1,036 square feet, wood frame construction. Now we're going to start to go, and we're going to stick right here from the 3 ones down, and we're going to look, what type of construction is it? That is CBS. That is not good for us because it's not a match. This is CBS, also not good for us. Not an active comp. CBS, right? You see, there's a lot of concrete block here. I don't see a lot of wood frame. Here's CBS. So far, no wood frames. No wood frame. This is a nursery. Don't worry about that. This is CBS. This is a rental. This is a rental. This thing is CBS and frame. Now, this is the first one, and it's the cheapest one. We're going to look at the days on market, right? It's been active for 39 days, which tells me that nobody's bid yet. And you'll see why in a second. Let's take a look at the, ooh-wee. We're talking about some messed up property right here. Look at that money shot. This thing is no boy. Oh my goodness. Look at that. All right, guys. This is a really bad condition house. Oh my God. They ripped off the sink and they put it next to the toilet. Yeah. Nobody's been in this house for a long time. And if they have, they're a crackhead. I'm just going to tell you right now. You got all this mold. You got all these ceilings. All right. This is why this is the lowest. This is the lowest listed thing at $319. And I still think these people are out of their skull for asking for $319. Okay. Also, it is a mixture of CBS and frame. Okay. Calling all investors or builders looking for fantastic opportunity. This guy is probably getting offers 250, 200, really low ball offers because he is way above ask here. All right. Now, let's keep going. You got 430, you got 549. All CBS. I still don't see, outside from that active, I still don't see anything that's wood frame. CBS, stucco. All right, let's take a look at this. Hold on, let's see. We're going to click on this little green dollar sign. That's going to take me to the construction type. Come on. Bingo. Frame construction. Now, this is not a closed sale. They are active at $599. Again, really high in price. These people should probably be selling for like maybe $475. Maybe. This is being split up. You could just tell that different people are living here. Huge lot. This thing probably has liens and violate. Look at this. All these illegal additions that you have here, right? So again, $599. So I'm not going to have a problem competing. 600 active. Was 600 active? CBS. Oh man, a lot of them. CBS. See, so largely this is a marketplace for CBS. Okay, this is a rental. That's a rental. This is us, right? That he listed on the MLS. We're getting to the end of the road here. CBS. Another one at CBS and CBS. And I'm saying CBS, guys, concrete block. Stucco, not CVS like the pharmacy. Okay, just say maybe my accent. So guys, what do I know so far? I'm buying at 170. Do I feel good or bad about buying at 170 after everything you just saw? Just comment good, bad, good, bad. Which one? Am I high or am I low? Or am I right where I need to be? There's no right or wrong answer. Well, there is a right answer, but I'm going to give it to you in a second. All right. Well, I think we're buying pretty right. Okay? Pretty right. I think that you definitely have property here. This house would definitely sell for at least $450. Even after everything I saw, CBS, that's adjusting for wood frame. Okay. So, and this is just simple math at this point, $450 minus, let's say they put 60K worth of repairs. That's the ARV is 450 minus 60K worth of repairs. You have 390. All right? 390. We're at 170, which means that we should really comfortably, now keep in mind, you got to find a buyer that's going to deal with these liens and violations and take them with them. So I think you could easily get a buyer here at 230. All right? They're going to take the liens and violations because they have 160K spread on that deal, and they're going to need to reconform it. The liens and violations, by the way, are for a work without permit. They added a bathroom to the back of the house that shouldn't have been there. And even still, this person who buys this house is going to net $100,000 on this deal if they do it right, which they should. They will sell out at 450. They'll probably put 60 to 80K high end worth of work. The liens and violations are for 100,000. They will be cleared out to about 10%, which leaves you at, let's say, high 20,000. So they definitely have $100,000 net spread in this as a flipper. All right. Now let's go into the official record, so the clerk of courts, and we're gonna go and look at what types of liens and violations we have. So we have Rodriguez Angela. So we got Rodriguez Angela. All right, I'm gonna filter by date. Again, now I'm on the clerk of courts and I'm looking to see if there's any liens and violations, okay? Seems like a solid buy. Yes, sir. So you got all these quick claim deeds. Let's keep going. Hustle Hard Entertainment LLC. All right. Good for you, man. Easement, deed, notice of commencement, death certificate. So obviously Angela Rodriguez is a very common name. You have a release. That's a condo. Affidavit. Oh, nope. That's a condo. There's a federal tax lien. It could be her. It might not be her. Her middle name is not A, so I don't think it's her. Again, I'm just filtering and looking for what is going on and what kind of hair is on this property. All right. So I don't see anything. Now I'm going to go into Miami-Dade County code violation search. All right. So I'm going to look up by the folio number. You can do this in any one of your counties, by the way. This is really annoying. They make you take out the dashes. Submit. Bam! Right here. Boom, 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 boom. Is this our property address? Yes, it is. 3630. Bingo. Here we go. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Some of them might be related. Some of them might not be. Okay. Now, this is the right folio. Got that. These are from 2011, 2012. You see the first 4 digits, and 2013. So let's just look at the most recent one. Florida Building Code. So it's a building code violation. Okay. Here's your case number, and then we could do a violation search. We'll get to that. Let's go back. Illegal additions, construction without the required use of permit. So this thing has had violations since 2012, which is why it's accrued to $100,000 worth of liens at this point. You're talking about 14 years of accrual. All right. I actually know this guy, Joel Grillo. He's popped me for a lot of properties over the years. God bless. It's good to see that Joel's still out there. Joel's still out there. And let's look at the other one. It's probably all for the same. Yep. So it looks like he attached the same violation. Florida Building Code, David Solomon. Great. Awesome. All right. So we know now that it definitely has liens and violations. Cool. Now, let me grab this case number and let's see code enforcement. So we're going to look up basic citation number. Hold on. We're going to go back now. See, that's why I'm glad I saved it. So I got the case number now. Bingo was his name-o. The citation number should be here. Of course, they don't put it here because they just love to do that. All right, so we'll do it the other way. So let's do it with the folio. So you guys see what I'm doing here, right? I'm gathering, this is called underwriting. I'm doing all the underwriting that I need to do. And I already know as I'm speaking to the seller, or if I'm going to speak to the seller, I already know how to frame this conversation. I also know how to price myself, right? If you don't know any of this exists, there they are, boom. You're just gonna go through and you are gonna now negotiate with somebody, which is how most people do it, especially in the wholesale world. And you're gonna be negotiating with these people and you're gonna be taking them at face value. Hey, I want $200,000 for the property, blah, 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 blah. You're not accounting for, hey, this thing has liens, this thing has violations, this thing needs permitted work, right? Which is gonna ding me on the buyer side, which is gonna make the value come down, which is gonna make my buyer pool shrink, right? Like all these things, I wanna know ahead of time, right? I wanna know that this is going on way ahead of time, because now when I negotiate with a seller, I have a clear picture of everything that's going on, and now I can go and negotiate around it. And now I can either, hey, are you going to pay for these? Are you expecting me to pay for these, right? How are we going to factor that in? Hey, this is not a clean property, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, da 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 da, right? This person originally wanted $300,000. The JV ended up bringing them down to $170,000. That's a $130,000 discount. Why? Because the JV knew how to do this. The JV knew how to look at this stuff. He understood how to underwrite, like we teach in reverse flip, and he knew how to look at comps, and he knew how to look in the background and reverse engineer the deal and say, hey, look, I need to be at 170 because I know that I'm going to be able to sell this for 220 to 230. Worst case scenario, I'm going to make 50 to 60 grand on this deal. And that's it. I mean, it's very, very simple to be able to do. So let's look at one of the citations. Let's look at the most recent one, right? Here is all the information. So all the parties are here, right? Here's the violator, which is her. Unauthorized use within a single family residential. So she was renting it, it looks like, as a multifamily. So she was renting. This is very typical Miami, guys, by the way. This happens every single day. It's crazy to see how often this happens. Failure of owner, builder, contractor to obtain a permit. So Will, I know you're a GC. We like to build things here without without contractors, without permits. So she did work without permits. Maintaining a safe structure, encroaching in required setbacks. She's encroaching in her neighbor's setbacks, so somebody complained on her. I bet you that's who snitched her to the city. And unauthorized use again for the same thing. So this is how these violations get accrued, right? By the way, the JV had already gone to the city. He talked to the city. He negotiated with the city. He knew exactly what he was getting into. And basically what he called me was, hey, I just want to make sure, because, I'm going to close on this. Excuse me. And I want to make sure that the value is there and that I'm reading this right? He just kind of wanted my validation, which is cool. That's why he's in the coaching community, and now he can feel safe that, hey, I ran basically everything I've done with you now, I did with him on a private setting, which is the same thing we're doing on the one-on-ones with the private deal desk, which we're going to do. And you have the link there if you ever wanted to do one of those. And basically, I walked them through the entire thing. I walked them through the best case scenario. I walked them through the worst case scenario, gathered all the facts. We looked at it together. We looked at the comps, and we said, look, in your worst day in court, there's no way that the land is not at least worth $200,000. So if you're at 170, you're fine. Like, you are definitely going to make your money back, and you're definitely going to make a profit. Like, the world would have to end for you to only get back your 170. More realistic scenario is, I think, and he asked me, what do you think I should list it for? He's like, look, I'm thinking of listing it at 285, letting it go, seeing what happens. I'm like, look, my strategy is always, I want to attract as much information, as much attention as possible, right? How do you do that? Price. That is the number one way to do that. So I told him, list it for 24999, which, by the way, what do you think is going to happen, right, to this guy when he lists it for $249,999, right? The cheapest active is $319, and it's that house that looks like a grenade went off in it, right? So he's going to attract every single eye, all the realtors, all the buyers, all the cash guys, everything. And if the marketplace, this is exactly what I said, the marketplace is going to tell you what your deal is worth very quickly. Okay, never forget that. You always hear me say the marketplace is undefeated, right? It's Mike Tyson in his prime. The marketplace never fails. So if you list it at $249,999 and somebody's willing to pay you more, you have created the urgency. You've created the scarcity, right? And all that attention to your property. And now if it's worth more than $250, somebody's going to come in at above, and you can push them up, and maybe they go to $260, maybe they go to $270. If it's worth $250, you're going to start getting offers at the $250, right? Or a little bit below, and you can push them up to the $250. But in the worst case scenario, this happens all the time too. We're human. We could be wrong, right? The marketplace might tell this guy, hey, offers are coming in at 210, 220, 215, 220, 225, 223, 221, 222, right? Now he understands, oh shit, maybe I priced this wrong. 220 is my most consistent offer that I've gotten. Taking it with all the liens and the violations, let me dump this, make a quick 45 after closing costs and everything, get my money back, boom, be out. Either way though, what I'm trying to say is that at $249,999 versus listing higher, he's going to get all the attention, he's going to get all the people, he's going to get everything he wants sent to him. Now he dictates the terms, and now the marketplace will either go up or down, but the marketplace will reward him, and it'll tell him exactly where that price needs to be. So guys, if you have any questions, please feel free. If not, as always, this is a pleasure. I love doing these reverse flip deal desks. I love it. Don't forget, if you scan that QR code, you will be able to hop on a one-on-one with me. You can book that there for $997, and we can do one of these, or we could talk about your business. We can debunk anything you want. I had a couple of those today with a few different people. One of them was asking me about direct mail. Another one was asking me about how to hire his first person. And another one was asking me directly about a deal, which we're actually going to end up JVing on. So that was pretty cool. As always, it's a pleasure. Take care, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.